Hey guys, this is Brian from the YouTube channel Grease Monkey Videos. Today I'm going to take you step by step and show you exactly how to change the disc brakes in your own vehicle. I'm going to keep it simple and take it slow. So let's get started. These are the only tools and materials you're going to need for the entire job. You'll need a jack stand with a lug wrench, a C-clamp to compress the caliper piston, a screwdriver to help release the old brake pad. You'll need a ratchet with the appropriate socket. In this case, I'm using a Torx T40 bit for my 1999 Nissan Quest. And to finish out the tools, the flashlight is optional. As far as materials, you'll just need your brake pads and some brake lubricant. Just go to your local auto parts store and tell the person behind the counter what the make and model of your vehicle is, and they'll take care of you. The very first thing you must do is chalk your tires. You don't want your car rolling off the jack stand while you're trying to repair the brakes. Number 2, remove your hubcap. This reveals your lug nuts. Number 3, you want to take your lug wrench and loosen, not remove, your lug nuts. Now you want to do this before you jack up your vehicle. Number 4, place your jack stand in the appropriate place under your vehicle on the side you're working on. Number 5, remove your lug nuts and your tire. With your tire removed, you'll see your rotor, your old brake pads, and the caliper that holds the brake pads. This is your cylinder that squeezes your brake pads against the caliper, causing force on the rotor, allowing your 2,000-pound vehicle to come to a stop. There are typically 2 bolts that hold the caliper in place. Here's one of them. The ratchet is in the other one. So you're going to take your ratchet with whichever socket fits those bolts, and you're going to loosen both of those and remove the bolts completely. With your caliper bolts out, you can now take your screwdriver and pry your brake away from the rotor. While brake pads attach to calipers in different ways for different models of vehicles, it's all pretty much the same. You're just going to take your screwdriver and pry your outer brake pad off first. You're going to leave the inner brake pad in place, and I'll show you why in a second. Now with your outer brake pad removed, we're going to take our C-clamp and we're going to attach it to the back end of the caliper and the front end of the inside brake pad. And the reason we're leaving the brake pad in place is so we can push that cylinder back evenly. This cylinder right here is going to have to be flush with this caliper. Now when you tighten up the clamp, you want to do it very, very slowly, because the brake fluid is going to go back into your master cylinder and you don't want to break a seal by putting too much pressure on it. So now I slowly start to tighten the C-clamp so that I can move that cylinder back into the chamber. But remember, you want to do this very, very slowly. There's no need to rush here. Using this compression method is the best way to keep you from having to bleed your brakes. That's where you open a line, you have somebody go in there and push in on the brake to get the air out of the lines. Okay, with the C-clamp still in place, you can see now that the cylinder is all the way up in the caliper, and now it's flush. Now the reason we had to put the cylinder back up into the caliper becomes obvious when you see the new brake pad. You see the thickness of the brake pad and how thin the old brake pad is. You're just making room for the new brake pad. Now we remove the interior brake pad. Check for any kind of leaks. See if you see any brake fluid. Everything looks pretty good right here. And install the new brake pad in the exact position as the old one that you just took off. Now you're going to install the outside brake pad, the exact same position as the old one came out. I'm just going to quickly remove the brake pads again, and I'll show you why I do this. I do that because you can see by the residue that's left from putting it back in the caliper, these are going to serve as my marks for my contact points, because I'm going to put my brake lubricant on every point of contact where the brake actually makes contact with the caliper. That's just a good way to find out where you need to put your brake lubricant so you don't waste it. So after I put my lubricant on my new brake pad, I just slide that back in place again. and then I do the exact same thing for the brake pad on the other side. As you can see, it left the cylinder mark on the other side of the interior brake pad, so I'm going to get all that dust out of the way, and that's where I'm going to apply my lubricant. As you can see, the lubricant application does not have to be pretty. Now I'm going to put this inside brake pad back on. This little package pretty much gives you the directions on what contact points need that grease. So my next contact point will be my caliper bolts. My caliper bolts all lubed up, I'm ready to put the caliper back onto the rotor. With the caliper in place, now all you have to do is tighten your caliper bolts. Your new brakes installed. Now just put your tire back on and secure your lug nuts. Once you get everything back in place, what you're going to want to do is go under the hood and find your master cylinder. Make sure it's not leaking, there's no brake fluid. Make sure you have plenty of brake fluid. And be sure to restart your engine and press on your brake to repressurize the line, because did you notice how soft that was at first? You're going to want to pump it a couple times and make sure that caliper makes contact with the brakes that you just installed. Okay, now it's getting stiff. Now I'm going to take it for a small road test before I take it out on the open road. You don't want to be in traffic and not have your brakes work, so you just want to make sure you test them. Now at first they may seem soft and unresponsive, but the more you pump them, probably 4 or 5 pumps, the more responsive they get. But you definitely want to make sure you do this without any traffic around, because you don't want your brakes failing when somebody else is around, or if you're doing 60 miles per hour. If you like this video, please like it, thumbs up, share it with others, and please consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks a lot.